Welcome back, Fright Night friends, to season 2 of Scary Movie Fright Night. It's finally here. We've been waiting. You've been waiting. Sam's been waiting patiently. He's like, when are we doing this? And I said, I don't know. I'm busy. It's January 2024, and here we are. Sam, welcome back.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be back. What are your New Year's resolutions for season 2 of Scary Movie Fright Night?
New Year's resolutions. Lots of scary movies. Lots of podcast episodes.
Nice.
Lots of fun. And lots of food. I don't know what the food has to do with the podcast, but I'm hungry and I'm here for it. What about you?
Those are good. Yeah. Okay. All right. So mine is, I just have one, and that's to embrace the self-scare of season 2. So I'm not here to shy away from the movies this time. I'm here to embrace it, get into it, really enjoy these movies. So yeah, that's my season 2 resolution.
Embrace it like a big scary hug. That's
like a big scary alien from the sky.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of aliens from the sky, Sam.
Yes.
Do you want to tell everyone what we're going to be talking about today? What movie?
Nope. This is Scary Movie Fright Night,
a podcast about two guys who just watch scary movies. I'm Chris, and I love scary movies.
And I'm Sam, and I hate scary movies. My body just shook. Give me the heebie-jeebies. No, don't. All you have to do is stay inside in your bed, and then you won't get murdered.
Oh. Okay.
Now you have that recorded.
So here we are. As Sam indicated, he actually does want to tell you what we're talking about. But we are talking about the movie Nope. So Nope came out in 2022. As I'm sure we're all tracking, is a Jordan Peele horror movie, written, directed, and produced by Jordan Peele, starring Daniel Kaluuya as OJ, Keke Palmer as Emerald, or M for short, Brandon Perea as Angel, who works at Fry's, random character that got added, and then Stephen Yeun played Jupe. IMDb gave it a 6.8 out of 10, and it got an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. Pretty good, although audience score only gave it a 69%. So at the end of our holiday bonus episode, which I hope everyone listened to and enjoyed, Sam chose from the theme Jordan Peele horror. And if you're just listening to us for the first time or didn't listen to all of last season, you'll note that the first episode of Scary Movie Fright Night was a Jordan Peele movie.
Yes.
We picked Candyman.
Yes.
And we instant fans of Jordan Peele. So we circled back for season 2. And Sam got the choice and he picked Nope.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. It's a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. With the Candyman episode. So that was our first season 1, episode 1. We're just getting started with Scary Movie Fright Night. And at that point, I was still like, oh man, I'm going to have to watch a scary movie every week. I don't like scary movies. Why am I doing this? And then we got through Candyman and I was like, whoa, scary movies actually have a lot of depth to them. There's a lot to unpack there. It really got me thinking. And so I started off on the right foot. I got really excited about what was to come. There was a lot of ups and downs and twists and turns through season 1, but we're starting season 2 with another Jordan Peele movie. And I thought Nope, just like Candyman, I liked it because there was a lot it had me thinking the whole time.
Yeah. It gave you a lot to think about. It was interesting. It had the same depth. But before we get too far, for those of you that maybe watched Nope when it came out, or that you were just like, should I watch it before I listen? Nope. So if you haven't watched it or need a quick recap, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little refresher, a quick recap.
Oh, yeah.
Just to make sure we're all on the same page before we get talking about it. So here we go. The movie opens, and we see a bloody chimp wandering around a messy sitcom set, which is super eerie and a little bit scary, to be honest. This will make a little bit more sense later. Otis Haywood Sr. and his son OJ begin their day taking care of horses at their Hollywood ranch. Soon electricity goes out and debris starts falling from the sky. A coin falls through Otis Sr.'s eye and kills him, and it's pretty gross. 6 months later, with the ranch struggling financially, the Haywoods meet Ricky Jupe Park, a former child actor who owns an amusement park, to sell him one of their horses named Lucky. During the meeting, we learn that Jupe was present during that bloody chimp scene, but that's about all we learn. That night, OJ sees a flying saucer in the sky. OJ and his sister M decide to buy several cameras, seeking to be famous from the footage, and they meet Angel, a staff member who wants to help them set up their cameras, and so he shows up and helps them set up their cameras. That night, with the cameras set up, we all get super creeped out thinking that there are aliens lurking in the shadows, but It's just some kids playing a prank. Ah, dang. Thought they were real. Later, OJ goes to find their horse Clover, but the UFO arrives. OJ manages to hide safely, but witnesses Clover getting sucked up into the spaceship alien thing. They fail to get the footage they need because a stupid-ass praying mantis blocked the view of the camera. Meanwhile, M wants to leave, but OJ says, nope. The next day, M contacts the film director and tries to get him to join them, but he declines. Meanwhile, OJ wonders if the UFO is something other than a ship. The movie then cuts to a flashback of the chimp Slaughter. It's the epitome of freaky, scary, disturbing, weird, watching this chimp, covered in blood, losing his mind, murdering people on stage, pounding them to death, pound, 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 over again. Super disturbing. Well, back in the present, Jupe prepares for an upcoming event. The event begins. He tells his audience that he witnessed a UFO and that they will be witnessing a spectacle. But then the UFO basically shows up early and sucks everyone up, the whole audience, and him included. We get to see inside the UFO, and it turns out the UFO is actually an alien itself, and thus Jupe, the whole audience, and his family are digested by the alien, while screams and the crunching bones are heard in the background in the distance. OJ shows up, and the alien tries to suck him up. He gets knocked out. He wakes up. He drives back to the ranch. Then the alien spaceship thing arrives and vomits blood and guts and debris all over their house. It's pretty gross, and now their paint is ruined. The next morning, the director listens to a news report about the disappearances and decides to join the team. He brings a hand-cranked camera, so it won't be deactivated by the alien, and now they call the alien Jean Jacket, not sure why. M decides she'll watch the cameras, and OJ, his job is to bait the alien. The next day comes, and the plan is set into motion. OJ successfully baits the alien, helping the director to capture footage. Then the dumbass director says, the world doesn't deserve this footage, so he lets himself get eaten, and he destroys the footage in the process. Great, that's awesome. The alien starts to unfold into a huge jellyfish-like form. After M and OJ salute each other, M rides a motorbike one direction, while OJ baits the alien in the other. Once M makes it to the amusement park, she untethers this giant balloon mascot up into the sky, meanwhile setting up this attraction that takes photos of the sky and getting it ready to take a photo of the alien. The balloon is sucked up into the alien, and it explodes, and the alien explodes, but just before that, M captures a photo. As all the reporters arrive, M stands up, she closes her eyes, and opens them again to see OJ riding their horse Lucky, looking like a true cowboy hero man thing that won the day. Anyway, he appears from the fog. The film ends showing the photograph of the alien. The end.
The end. So wait, you don't remember where Jean Jacket came from?
Yeah, it came from a thrift store
No,
when denim was in style.
no.
That's
it
not,
was
oh,
it
okay.
was it was one of the names of their horses. Remember when she was talking about when she was a little girl? Jean Jacket was supposed
Jean
to
Jacket
be
was her
horse, but
okay,
yeah, for some reason she didn't get to train Jean Jacket. Her brother and her dad trained Jean Jacket. That's where
I remember. Yeah. I remember that story. I just didn't remember that's why they named it Jean Jacket.
Yeah,
I obviously paid close attention.
Yeah,
I was not sleeping.
Well, I liked too that you said that because I had the same thought that in the end when the alien like unfurls into its like jellyfish form, that that's exactly. I was like, this seems like an undersea creature like floating through the water and like sucking up, like a jellyfish or an octopus or something in the ocean, finding things to like suck up and consume. That's what it made me think of.
It was super weird. It was like beautiful, but like dangerous, and like you'd seen all the gruesome stuff, and you'd seen it just like eating these horses and people and digesting them, and then vomiting it everywhere. But then when it like folded out to its form, and its like square eye was like flipping or fluttering or blinking, whatever it was doing, I was like, oh, this is like the true like you see something beautiful and you get too close, and then it eats you. That's basically what
sucked in, literally.
Yeah, it's like a horrible flower that's going to eat you in the sky.
So that was actually one of the themes that I was interested in talking about on this episode is just the idea of spectacle. You even said it in the synopsis when, oh, here I go again, forgetting the characters' names. Okay, what was the name of the guy who ran the theme park?
That would be Jupe.
Jupe. Okay,
his name was Ricky, but I guess Jupe was his like
stage name or actor name or something.
Stage name?
I don't know. Okay, so
I
Jupe.
don't remember.
So Jupe talked about when he is like doing the show and he's got his like tiny little audience there.
It was like 7 or 9 people.
Yeah, I was like, wow, you made it. You've got the like alien UFO flying in, and you've got your audience of 10. Cool. But there was this idea of like, I'm gonna wow you, I'm gonna dazzle you with this spectacle, and I think that was for me, the idea of spectacle was one of the themes of the movie, because what you just said about the alien, not just, it wasn't like this slobbery, gross thing with scales and nasty teeth. It was
Yeah.
spooky and like invasive, or like, what is it? But once we got to see it in all its glory, it was like something, miraculous to behold,
Right.
which is very
And
different than a
also,
lot of other scary movies that we've watched.
that's a good point. You never really see like the villain or the monster or whatever have you in the horror film like turn out to be this like super well. And
Thing
I
of
think bringing in
beauty.
the director, yeah, I think bringing in the director, I think his name was Antlers or something, but bringing him in because he captures these like
Oh,
scenes in
right.
nature, and so that's kind of like his thing. And
Yes.
so him fitting in because it's this like thing of beauty, which ties into him saying, "Oh man, no one deserves this," because it's in
Yeah.
its element, just eating the world.
Right.
Which sure, art is great and stuff, but maybe don't let the world get sucked up by an
I
alien.
mean, yeah, true.
Um,
Well,
or at least not every day.
it made me think of, so you remember, actually, I'm just making these connections now as we're talking through this. So the director, who is also named, I don't
Mhm.
remember, I never remember the characters' names. I should just make a list.
Antlers, I think is his. I think
Antlers.
it was Antlers.
Okay.
I don't know if that was his last name. Let's
Of
go with
course he had
that.
an interesting name like Antlers. Okay, so the
Yeah.
old Hollywood director guy, and
Mhm.
when he's sitting alone in his home, and he's like, they're on the phone with him, and he's looking through reels of, I'm assuming, things that he's shot, and they're all reels of like
Yeah.
animals in nature, and they're all
Yeah.
like something's eating something else, or like there's conflict, like there's an
Yeah.
octopus eating a
What?
crab, or there's like the
Yeah.
crocodile wrestling a boa constrictor or something. I might be getting.
It was. Oh, yeah. It seemed to be like Predator versus
Yeah,
Predator.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's an Instagram account that I follow. It's called Nate
Predators eat people. No, I'm
Predators
just kidding.
and
Sorry.
being eaten by people. No, close though. It's called Nature is Metal, and the
Mm.
whole idea of the whole thing of the account is it's just animals in the wild, and they're not all necessarily like. It's a pretty gory account. So if you're gonna open it up and follow and take a look, just it usually a lot of it is how Instagram will block stuff. You have to like opt
Yeah.
in to
Yeah.
watch it because it's like a little gory. They're not always like bears and tigers and stuff. Sometimes it's like
Mhm.
the tiniest little bird or insect, but the thing is like vicious. It's a fighter, it's a survivor. So a lot of times, sometimes it's like two animals fighting, but sometimes it's like, oh, here's a bumblebee that had half of its legs torn off, but it's a fighter and a survivor, and like nature is metal,
Oh.
And so
Okay.
where I'm going with this is that the movie, like, I think the alien character, if we can call it a character, was so
Yeah, the alien thing. Yeah,
the
sure.
the
Character.
thing of the alien was interesting because in a lot of these scary movies, I'm always trying to figure out like what's the motive of the bad guy, and I think the motive of
Right.
the
Right.
alien was just dinner. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
like inherently evil or anything. It was just in its
No.
natural habitat, eating things to survive.
Yeah. Well, and it felt that was it's well, they had talked about for whatever reason it thought that was its territory.
Right.
So it was like protecting its territory. And they kind of hinted at it that Jupe's character, which shout out to Stephen Yeun, from The Walking Dead, he played Glenn. You didn't watch it, but go
Oh.
zombies. Anyway, yeah, the guy with the amusement park, he was a pivotal character until he was killed off by Negan with a baseball bat. Let's not talk about
Oh,
it.
okay.
Anyway, I digress. But uh, I think he had been like, it was their 11th horse. Lucky was the 11th horse that they'd sold to him. And I think he was buying these horses and using them, releasing them every
Yeah.
day out to this
Yes.
alien. So it had kind of like developed this, oh, this is where I go. This is where I feed.
Yep.
This is my spot.
Yep.
And then somewhere in there, in that weird cloud form, which, they don't ever explain how it looked like a cloud, but yeah, so it was protecting its territory. It was a predator.
Right.
Didn't really have a thought to it. You make eye contact with it and it comes after you.
Mm-hmm.
Like OJ, he does a thing where he puts his head down
Mm-hmm.
and then it doesn't eat him. So it's basically just like a thing of nature, not natural to our planet,
Right.
but a thing of nature
Yes.
that like you look at it, you look aggressive to it,
Yep.
and then it comes after you, right?
This is why when you
It's like a space
go,
lion.
it's like a space. It is like a space lion. This is why
Yeah.
when you go in the wild, you go out in some national park, natural, whatever. There's signs that say don't feed the bears or the lions because this is what happens. They're like, oh, thanks for the snack. Now you're also looking pretty tasty. So why don't we just continue this meal and expand the menu? So I agree.
Yeah, that's why you gotta. Yeah, if you go to natural parks, then mind the signs. I'm sorry,
I'm mixing up national park and being out in nature. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's natural to get those mixed up.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's good. But I mean, so I think that was pretty cool about this movie is like the villain wasn't just like a merciless killer for no reason. There wasn't necessarily any like moral conflict here. It was like, imagine if you were a little creature in the ocean and the alien was just a jellyfish or an octopus coming to get you. Like it's just doing its thing and you're just the prey on the bottom of the food chain. We just introduced a new invasive species onto Earth and that's just how it's going down. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a different take.
I wonder how it reproduces.
Oh.
Maybe in Nope too, it'll be like Nope, the reproduct. Nope, I don't have a good name. Anyway,
oh, interesting. What? How would it reproduce? I mean, I did have a lot of questions about its biology because it starts off as a flying saucer, then it turns into a flying jellyfish angel with the weird square.
Then back to a saucer.
Then back to a saucer, but also a cloud. I mean, it was pretty cool. I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, it does have. It has quite a good alien technology for a natural predator.
Yeah.
Speaking of, so two things. One, it kind of reminds me of the movie Predator because that's an alien from another planet and it's just a hunter, right? And it's just like it's what it does. And it's not trying to be evil, it's not trying to do anything. It's just hunting. It ends up, in this forest and it sees, the people as a threat, and Arnold Schwarzenegger says, "Not today, I'll be back." But anyway, so it does kind of remind me of that also because the name Predator matches the fact that it's a predator. Producer Shelley made a good point. She said that like horror and nature are synonymous.
Yes.
Yep. I'm Sam speaking. No, synonymous. So like there is horror in nature. You were talking about that Instagram page, and sometimes it's blocked. And when we went on safari and you see like one animal eating another one and it's ripping flesh and it's doing the thing, right? There's something horrific about it, which actually is like the chimp, right? The chimp in that situation, it is the overpowering being. Now, whatever made it snap in that moment, the humans who are taking this chimp and putting it on spectacle on TV for entertainment, like who's the real boss? Well, when the chimp gets serious, it goes back to its natural nature instinct and like and destroys everyone.
Okay, so much to talk about here. First of all, can we take?
I just gave like 12 subjects.
It's so good. No, it's so good. There's so much to talk about. Which I think is what makes it a good movie. Okay, wait. So, side note: when you were giving the synopsis earlier, I got a little distracted. I was like googling something on the internet because I read that this had maybe happened, but I needed the details. There was this apparent. I don't know if that writing was actually inspired by this event that happened, but this event happened in 2009. Travis the chimp was a beloved animal actor in Connecticut until he viciously attacked his owner's friend and nearly ripped her face off.
Oh, wow.
True story. The Heralds, the name of the family who owned the chimp, Travis, Sandra Harold, treated Travis the chimp like her child. In 2000, the Herald's only child was killed in a car accident. 4 years later, Jerome Harold lost his battle with cancer, so Sandra Harold used Travis, the chimp, as a comfort for her losses and began pampering him. They ate all their meals together, bathed together, and slept together every night? Okay.
Weird.
This is strange.
Okay.
Anyway, so then...
It's like Megan. Like, instead of an AI doll, they got a chimp.
Yeah. But then, let's see, 6 years later, Travis made national headlines when he attacked Sandra's friend, Charla, after a seemingly normal encounter. Oh my God, she had to hit him with a shovel before resorting to stabbing Travis in the back with a knife. Jesus Christ.
Weird.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't prepare this article. I just really wanted to
Well,
know if it was inspired by true events. And
we started really light, then Sam took us right down to the depths of despair. You know, this is feeling a little high lifey, Sam. But we
well,
need to dig our way back out.
do you want to
Which
hear
honestly,
another?
we'll circle.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, honestly, that's kind of how I felt at the end of the Gordy scene when, like,
Oh,
he sees Jupe under the table
yeah,
and, like, he's unaggressive. He reaches out his fist for the fist bump,
right.
and he's like, oh, he recognizes him as his friend, even though he'd lost it. Like, he sees him as his friend. He's back to his normal self. He's kind of like, and then they just like bang,
Boom.
they like shoot him, and it's
Blew his
pretty
brains
disturbing.
out. Yeah, right in
Pretty
front of the kid.
disturbing.
Totally irrelevant. Well, that's actually not totally irrelevant because we're talking about chimp attacks. My mom was once bitten by a monkey. So
That's
yeah, and now you have to hear the story, right? Like, how did my mom get bit by a monkey? So we were at this.
How did my mom get bit by a monkey?
I know we weren't ready to tell this story before we started this episode, but now we're here. So here we go. We were at a music festival, like a family-friendly music festival in Columbia, South Carolina. And there was a man with a monkey, just like a tiny, not like a chimp, just like a tiny monkey. Like, do you remember when
little monkey?
A little monkey. You and I were traveling together with our partners in Japan, and we saw a guy with I think 2 monkeys, just like an entertaining little monkey. That and like kids would come over and you could like he would jump on your shoulder. You could kind of pet him, maybe feed him a little something.
Cute monkeys,
very
like,
cute.
Yeah.
Well, it was time. It was time for us to go, and the monkey, like one of my sisters was like holding the monkey, or the monkey was like on her back or something. I don't know. And my mom went to pick up my sister, who was like a child, like a young child, toddler or something. Went to pick her up to leave, and the monkey bit her on the hand, and she had to go to the hospital, and she had to get stitches, and it was like a whole thing.
Oh wow!
So
like it really bit her.
It really bit her.
Crazy.
They have sharp teeth. I should call her and get her to retell the story and see if I'm getting the details correct. But all this to say, it's a wild animal. Like, it's not a domestic pet. So of course, wild animals are going to behave like wild animals. Like floating jellyfish UFOs are going to behave like floating jellyfish UFOs.
Yeah. And honestly, like little kid hands look like snacks to monkeys. Yeah. I mean, that's what we learned today.
Well, it bit my mom.
I mean, if there's anything you learned from this episode, what?
Sorry. Well, it didn't bite my sister. It bit my mom. She had a grown hand. I think it.
Oh, I got confused.
It reacted to her like taking away my sister. Yeah.
Right.
It was like, where? No, I'm playing with her. Why are you taking her? Ah. And then, and the rest is history. But she didn't get any diseases. None didn't get infected. So.
Well, that's good.
Everything turned out just fine.
And she stopped playing with monkeys, which is probably,
Actually, I'm just kidding. She did stop playing with monkeys.
You're like, actually, she now owns 500.
We now have.
I had a giant gorilla walk right by me once when I was on safari.
Was it?
Yeah.
Did you see the? I mean, did you gaze into the eyes of the gorilla and say, like, that is
no? So you're definitely not supposed to do that.
Oh.
You're definitely not supposed to do that. You're supposed to You're supposed to not make eye contact. But it's a very organized event. Going gorilla watching. You go up with the mountaineer folks and they lead you to the woods and they track them and they find them because they're families that are used to having people there. And then once you make contact, you only get 1 hour in vicinity, but they keep you at a relatively decent distance. And then you take photos and you just kind of witness them, but they're smart. Gorillas are super smart.
Yeah.
So, they know that like the little baby ones are kind of showing up because they know that that we're there to watch.
Yeah.
But if they start walking towards you, you just try to get out of their way because this is their habitat. So like I had mama gorilla with baby on her back, like walk up to me and there's bushes all around. So I just squeezed up against the bush.
Wow.
And like, again, I'm not making eye contact, but it just like walks on by. I mean, there's a photo somewhere of it kind of close to me.
So, and they specifically told you if you encounter a gorilla up close, don't make eye contact.
Yeah, I think that's what they said. If I remember correctly, they're just like, don't stare at it. Don't try to do anything that would challenge it. Right. So just kind of like, don't make eye contact.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly. I mean, that was like the thing in the movie. That's what he figured out. Is
yeah.
He was
it was like a space gorilla fish.
Yeah, exactly.
Jug gorilla fish.
Yeah.
Also, in case you're wondering, the gorilla did not bite my hand.
Oh, so okay, good. I'm glad you didn't get bitten by the gorilla. It's because you didn't make eye contact.
Because I didn't make eye contact. otherwise it would have turned into an alien. It would have sucked me up and drove away in space, and I wouldn't be here right now doing this podcast.
Exactly.
Thank goodness.
Okay.
Also, I wouldn't have the cool pictures to show.
Yeah.
Shelly would, but I would.
We should post those on our Instagram, which everybody should be following, by the way. Scary Movie Fright Night Pod. Okay, so coming back to the you were talking about the chimp on the TV show.
Gordy.
Gordy the chimp, and he reacted, and his viciousness came out, and he ended up attacking humans and killing a couple. Well, so that made me think of the other theme of the movie, which I didn't I didn't pick up on this. I had to read about it on the internet before I was like, oh, that's what this is about. The idea of exploitation. And once you start unpacking it, you're like, oh, this is like total, like, so for example, the chimp being forced to do this TV show or whatever,
sitcom.
right? Yeah, the sitcom. So essentially they're exploiting this wild animal to create entertainment. But then, they tell the story between Emerald is the sister and OJ, the brother. And when Emerald comes on set, so you talked about this at the beginning of the movie, they're filming a commercial, and they're there as animal trainers. So Kiki, the actress Kiki, Emerald, the character, comes in and she tells the story of her great 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 grandfather, who was, and this is partially true, who was a jockey on a horse, which was they took a series of photos of this horse to create sort of like the first motion picture. And the story that she tells is that, the photographer, the name of the photographer is known in history because he created this first like motion picture, but nobody knows anything about the jockey because he was, a black man, and there was no recognition of who he was or what he did or how So there's this idea of exploiting the person in the photos who doesn't get any sort of recognition or credit for the history that he was part of creating.
Yeah.
There's other examples, right? Like when the TMZ reporter comes writing in, he's just there to try and like exploit the situation.
Super random,
but yeah, like where did he come from? Or even the character Jupe, who runs this theme park and is feeding Jean Jacket, the alien. He's essentially exploiting the alien for his own personal gain. So there's all these like little instances of exploitation.
Well, and he's got that whole like weird like museum in his office that's like exploiting that crazy
traumatic
chimp incident of his childhood that multiple times throughout the movie he's like having flashbacks to, and it's obviously haunting him, but he's still using it as a point to like show people. And then of course like that parallels the fact that they're trying to get this image to get the Oprah shot, right? To get this image to make bazillions of dollars or whatever. And so they're effectively trying to use Jean Jacket as an exploitation measure, which, in the end, they do get the photo.
Yeah.
Because that's interesting too, because I hadn't thought about that till now. Right. But it's not even, this isn't even about survival, right? Or like, oh, there's an alien on Earth and how do we destroy the alien to save the human race? Which would normally be a through point of either kind of alien horror movie, whatever.
Right.
But it's about, no, this is our shot. This is our ticket. We've got to get the shot of the alien.
The American dream, baby.
Yeah, and then at one point she's like, "Oh, well, let's just get out of here. This is someone else's problem."
Yeah,
and he's like, "Nope, we got to do this, right?"
Yeah.
So it's interesting because I hadn't even thought about that. But
yeah.
It was only about survival because they kept going back,
which I liked. I really liked that. I felt like it was a maybe accurate's the wrong word, but the portrayal of humans, of the human race, like. This wasn't like, oh, we discovered an alien. Let's call the president.
Ghostbusters.
Or Ghostbusters. Sorry. Yeah, like, it wasn't like, I mean, the whole point of the movie, like, sure, they ended up killing it, we assume, at the end, but it wasn't like this, it wasn't like we called in National Guard, and it was just them in their little valley trying to figure out, like, okay, we want to survive, and we got to keep feeding the horses, and we got to make sure the horses get out. Oh, what if we get a picture of this thing and then we can sell it, and then we are set for life? Unlike our great 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 grandfather, who got no recognition from being part of changing history, we get to seize the reins, horse reference, and and exploit Jean Jacket for personal gain.
Yeah, which is funny because, and that's like a whole rabbit hole, right? Because which fits perfectly with the fact that this is a Jordan Peele movie, but when you talk about their great 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 grandfather who didn't get credit for it, and therefore, like, had he gotten credit for it, there would have probably some sort of generational
Yeah.
wealth that would have carried through to their generation. Yet it's just been generation after generation of them trying to maintain this ranch
Mhm.
and do the best that they can. And then their father passes away, and now it's down to them. But now they've got green screens and they don't need real horses anymore. And so it is that interesting through point of like
The
that again, so
generational
many
effect.
layers to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yep.
loved these 2 characters. So, the minute
Agreed.
that Emerald comes in with she's like, "Sorry, I'm tardy," and just her energy, she's like doing
She was
the
very Sam.
she yeah. Thank you. I think that's a compliment. Um,
I mean, because she was late.
oh, I was like, "Are
Ooh,
you
I'm
going
just
for the
kidding. I'm just
energy or the
kidding.
tardiness?" But I love
I
how,
meant the
like
energy, but
yeah, I love how and it's like, before she shows up, OJ is her brother is, like, getting ready to have to do this spiel, and you can tell he, like, does not want to do this, like, he's, like, muttering to
yeah.
himself. He's like, "Okay," and then he almost starts into it, and clearly nobody's paying him any attention because he's
Yep.
not commanding the room. She shows up
Hmm.
and takes full command of the room. She gives the whole spiel, and she's like, "Also, by the way, I sing, I dance. I'm in a room full of, like, writers, directors, producers, so give me a call." She gets the phone number
Yep.
of this, like, famous director who's shooting this commercial and, like, has the guts to just call him up on the phone
Call
later.
him up.
Yeah, and say, "I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but we need you to come capture a video of, this thing, reality."
Yeah.
I loved her character. And Kiki Palmer is the actress.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
thought it was really fun to watch her.
Yeah, yeah, you're right that they both did a really good job, and I hadn't thought about it, but I think that especially when you see actors and actresses that you've seen in other stuff,
Mm.
sometimes it's hard to like pull them out of the other things you've seen them in.
Now, who
But they
all
both just did
had
a
you
really
seen both of them and other
um yes.
I mean, I've
Um
seen Daniel Kaluuya
well,
in
yeah,
Avengers,
so I mean
but
to start, yeah, I mean Daniel Kaluuya. So like he's been in other Jordan Peele movies that you haven't seen yet that you
mm.
will. Of course, he's been in Black Panther and Avengers and stuff. And he's been in. I know there's at least a couple other movies that I've seen him in, but he really owned this character. Like it was weird because he had this like hard exterior, but like he finally loosened up a little bit with his sister. Like he was just very kind of like standoffish and like kind of pushing her away, but then you kind of just see that he's just kind of like hard exterior. The callback when he kind of salutes her, that's basically like, "You go, I've got this,
Yeah,
like I'm
yeah.
gonna lure the alien away." And it was that callback to when they were kids and she was watching her horse out there be trained for this thing, and he looks up and he's like, "I see you," like, you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
um so it was a really good blend of like his character being this like hardworking, always gets the job done, I've got responsibilities, I've got to do the thing, but also like let some of his like heart creep through without it ever being super apparent.
Yes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, so you asked me what else I'd seen Kiki Palmer in. I don't remember specifically, but I know I've seen her somewhere. Either way, she did a great job. I put my foot in my mouth and said, "Oh, I've seen them both everywhere." And then you called me out and was like, "Oh, what you've seen
No,
her
no, no.
in?"
I was just
Anyway,
curious. Well, because I did a little bit of searching because I was
I'm
like,
a liar.
yeah, what the heck, Chris? Um,
Sorry.
it's okay. We can tell a few little lies from here from time to time. Okay.
Okay.
No, so
You
I
look great today. That wasn't a lie. That was
first
that
you
was
call me late, and then you say you're lying when you say I look good. Okay, let me tell you about Kiki Palmer.
starting season off strong. Sorry, go
So
ahead.
yeah, we got to start off with a little bit of jabs. So I know I
Yeah.
I looked up her history because I wanted to know what she's been in.
Hmm.
Because I thought she was so compelling in this as this character. I don't think I've seen anything that she's done, but I did see that there's a TV series, a Scream TV series. So we know the Scream movies. There was
Hmm.
apparently a series, 3 seasons, started in 2015, and she plays a character Kim on that show.
On what network?
I don't know. That's all I know about it. We'd have to.
That's super weird because I've seen all the Scream movies. You've seen none of them.
Yep.
Yet we will
And
figure
I'm
out how to
I'm
incorporate.
99% sure it's the same franchise. Like I read like 2 sentences of the description of the show, and I was like, I think this is a TV spinoff of the Scream movies.
That's super weird. I'm gonna have to look more into this because like they're still releasing Scream movies. There's like one more movie coming out like in a year or two. One just came out last year and I watched it.
There you
go. Yeah, weird. Okay, well, either way, I've seen her in all the things that I can't remember, and she was great. Moving on. But Scream TV series.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we got to figure out how to incorporate TV series into this podcast.
Mm.
There are so many good scary TV series coming out. I can't like handle it, but we're just gonna have to quit our jobs so we can do that full time. Anyway,
that's another level of commitment. We'll make it happen.
Yeah,
so anyway, love these characters. I love too how they like the brother sister dynamic, how they were like opposites, but they were like very much on the same team, like looking out for each other.
And it took a minute to like get there because she was very extra. He was very introverted.
He's like, I'm just trying to take care of these horses. You got a lot going on. Yeah.
Well, and there was that little bit of disconnection too because she had obviously left the ranch. She wasn't working the ranch, so he was left behind with the chores. I mean, it'd been 6 months. He'd probably been on the ranch by himself doing it. And then when he needs her help, she shows up late and then pitches her other stuff, which to her point was that's her primary, right? She's not making a whole lot of money with the horse ranch thing. So but yeah. I couple other notes that I just going through the way this movie was set up. I thought it was interesting that they broke it into chapters named by the horses.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
I don't really know like why, but it just added an interesting feel. It gave it just like stopping points.
Yeah.
It was very Avenger-esque, right? When they go to like a new, because Avengers movies, you're always bringing in like all the different characters from different wherever they're at in the universe, and so it's like cuts to like New Asgard, and then Thor's there drinking beers and playing video games, right? So, but naming them by the horses. Anyway, I don't know why, but that was just kind of an interesting artistic like choice.
Yeah, kind of chunked it up a little bit. Kind of helped me think of like process what was happening and like little bits and bites and little chunks.
And you kind of and you kind of knew the next one was going to be focused around like the horse or Gordy or whatever.
Right. Oh, Gordy.
You know what you haven't mentioned yet. We've made it all the way this far, and you haven't talked about like the main reason you were excited about this movie with the flippity flappity wind guys. Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah, that's right.
Flippity flappities.
What are those things called? Yeah, because I saw them on. We have to do it on video. You can see so we have to do the rest of the episode as those.
Flippity.
What are they called? They're called tube. They're
called. There's a name here.
Sky Dancer.
Sky Dancers,
there we
Tube
go.
Mans, something like that.
Yes,
yeah, I don't know.
I saw
let's flippity flappity's better
promotions in the theaters where they actually put these little mini tube men on and I was like, oh, that's brilliant. It's so interesting. Again, this is what I love about this movie is like the I don't know if it's necessarily symbolism or the imagery or just the way that
just their
things
choices.
Yes, was so interesting to me. So they used the tube men, the Sky Dancers, as a way to detect when the cloud, if the cloud is an alien, because it would, have this like electrical field that would essentially turn off, so they could see when the tube men would fall. They'd be okay, with that cloud over that area of the valley, that's the alien. Brilliant. And then the whole thing at the end with the camera in the well, we see this at like the beginning of the movie when Emerald, the sister, goes to the little cowboy theme park, and there's people who are there looking down into the well. So she looks down to see what they're looking at, and turns out there's a camera at the bottom, and it takes a picture of the people from below looking down, and then you get your picture and you take it home with you, whatever. Well, then at the end of the movie, that's what she uses to take pictures over and over up into the sky in order to capture the Oprah shot of Jean Jacket. And that's just so good. The thing that allows her to be able to take the picture over and over is because Jean Jacket, the alien, sucks people up and horses to consume them, and then spits out the parts that it won't digest, which is how their father dies, because he gets hit by a quarter in the face, like whatever.
Yeah.
So there's all these coins on the ground that Jean Jacket has spat out that it couldn't digest. So she's just like raking these coins up and putting it in the photo thing and just using it. And I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. Like they laid that groundwork for that.
Yeah.
All the right ingredients for that moment to be able to happen. And we've seen them trying over and over again to get shots of Jean Jacket and failing over and over. So when they finally get that money shot, it was just so satisfying. I was like,
Yep.
yes,
Yep.
yes. It was just so cool. It wasn't necessarily about beating the alien, it was about getting the
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah, which is it's interesting though, and I might disagree a little bit because
Oh,
that's kind of what it was about. Like that was what they were doing it for. But I think at that point, the point at which it was her and her brother, like I kind of think it shifted. Like that was still the priority, but he risks himself and she thinks he might be dead. And she finally gets the shot and she's laying there and she sees it eat the balloon and it
yeah.
explodes. And she's like, finally, but she doesn't even look down to see if she got the shot, right? Like the
Oh,
camera cuts to it,
yeah,
but she finally like they defeat defeat Jean Jacket, and then it turns out that she actually got the shot.
yeah,
Even though she was driving for it in that moment, she never was just like, "Oh, thank God." She sees her brother and she's like, "Oh,
yeah,
he made it."
yeah,
And that's like that connection of them. It kind of goes back to them seeing each other and they're still standing.
yeah.
They won Predator versus Predator. Oh, and by the way, they actually got the shot finally.
Now, how do you
Uh,
interpret, because I wasn't sure, when she goes to release the inflatable cowboy
mhm.
thing that Jean Jacket
Yeah,
consumes, was that planned? Or was that just in the moment she was like, I'm gonna do this?
that had to have been in the moment. I mean, it could have been, but I don't really know what their plan was. So they were gonna lure it in with the flappy guys.
Yeah.
Um, but she well, yeah, it couldn't have been part of the plan, right? She got off on the motorcycle that the TMZ reporter had. So they didn't have a method
Oh,
worked in unless he was gonna ride the horse
right.
to the amusement park and do that, which is possible.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's,
Yeah.
but also they no, because they weren't even going to need. Nope, they weren't even going to need that camera because they were just going to have him lure him. The director
Oh.
Antlers was going to get the footage, and then they were just going to bounce.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that was definitely
Okay.
like in the moment. She rides away. The only place she has to go is to the amusement park, and then she's like, "Well, there's this camera here." So it
Right.
was very quick thinking on that
Right,
part.
right. How
Um,
brilliant. That was, and it
yeah,
was a really
it was
cool
well
way to
done.
I was like, they're never gonna defeat this thing. I mean, come on. It's like this, alpha predator giant jellyfish. Like there's no destroying that without calling in the big guns. There were no guns.
There were no guns.
There were no
There was nothing.
guns.
Like, how are they going to defeat it? Honestly, that was like luck.
Yeah.
I think she did that as a decoy and it ate it.
Yeah.
And then under pressure, uh, it it popped.
Yeah. So cool.
Pop goes, pop goes the
Also,
alien
how cool was it?
thing.
Again, so many little connections. How cool is it that
Mhm.
she got on the motorcycle while OJ got on the horse, which was such a
Yeah.
nice like nod to their personalities. She's just so like full
Yep.
of
Oh
energy,
yeah,
and
because
he's
she's
like
very like.
more stoic and calm.
Yep. Yeah, that was very paralleled. Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing that I thought was really cool about the movie was this connection between the story of the moving
Hmm.
horse moving picture thing, where the idea behind that, the origin of that was like the big question of like when a horse is
Hmm.
running. Do you
Yeah.
know about this? The question was like, do all four of its hooves ever come off the ground at the same time, or as it's galloping, are there always like two hooves on the ground at one
Oh,
time?
interesting. When I gallop on all fours, Megan style, they never come off all
Yeah.
at the same
Do you
time. So
come
I'm gonna
off?
go with
You
answer
never come off.
B.
You always have something on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, so this was a mystery until they were able to like actually take pictures of horse. Because if you watch a horse, you can't tell;
Right.
it's too
I
fast.
can, but
But once they started, oh well, you got the answer wrong, so apparently you
oh
can't.
well, I don't watch horses anymore.
Once you should spend more time watching
Okay.
horses. So once they got pictures, they could see that yes, in fact, there is a moment where all four hooves come off of the
Mm,
ground. And so anyway, so then we see this with the moving picture thing. But I think the connection to the movie is the idea of this like money shot, like trying to get the one
yeah.
shot, and of the horse with the hook and the one shot of Jean Jacket. I just
Oh,
thought
that
that was
is
a really cool
interesting. Yeah.
parallel, which leads me into some of the
Okay.
trivia. So the story about the photographer getting that moving picture
Hmm.
thing, so that was a real like first moving picture. I don't think you can call it a movie. I don't know what the right
Motion
terminology here
picture.
is for cinematographer
Yeah.
historians. But this guy Edward Muybridge. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He lived 1830 to 1904. He's the one who took these photos of the horse. So it wasn't a video. He took a series of
Right.
photos. He created this contraption that there was it was perfectly timed. So there's a series of cameras as the horse was running by them. It was perfectly timed to take all the photos, and then he could compile them to make it seem like it was a moving
Mhm.
image. So he did that in the 1880s or something, longest time ago. This guy was he was an English person, an Englishman. Yeah, it came out weird. He was English. He lived in the
Mhm.
U.S. I thought it was interesting. He notably was a photographer of the American West, where this movie takes place. Fun little piece of trivia fact was that he shot and killed his wife's lover.
Weird.
He shot more than just photography. He was acquitted for the crime, but sounds like he lived a really interesting life. And it was a true fact that there was a black jockey who was on the horse in the photos that he took. I think the
Okay.
reality is we actually don't know who that person was. So in the
Right.
story, in the movie, they created this backstory and they said this is our great great grandfather, but in reality,
But in fact, yeah, we
we
don't
don't
actually have an
actually know who
idea.
that was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, my next piece of trivia is that there was a quote at the beginning of the movie, and I'll read it to you in a minute. But what I didn't know before I looked this up, the quote says that it was from the book of Nahum, chapter 3,
Yeah,
verse
yeah.
6. I was like, what is Nahum? I've never heard that before. Is that a made up thing? But it's actually from the Hebrew Bible. So, it's a real
Okay.
thing.
Oh,
The
interesting.
quote,
Okay.
yeah, the quote is, I will cast abominable filth upon you, make you vile, and make you a spectacle.
That's interesting. It's interesting. Well, first of all, I remember seeing the quote at the beginning of the movie and I was like, I wonder what that means. And then I forgot about it and I didn't look it back up. But kind of like when I mean we talked about the spectacle being Jean Jacket and the spectacle all throughout the movie, but then like the abominable vile upon you, like when Jean Jacket goes over their house and
Yep.
vomits the vile, gross like
Yep.
leftovers all over their house. And it's like
Yeah.
in that moment he's like, yeah, now who's the spectacle?
Yeah,
Obviously I don't think that,
exactly.
but anyway, that's what I thought of. I thought that was that's weird. I
Yeah.
wonder, yeah.
How he chose that. And I wonder what it means in the context of the actual book.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Hmm. Research for next time.
Find out, and we'll do a bonus episode.
Yeah, there we go. There we
Yeah,
go.
just to talk about the Hebrew Bible.
The last piece of trivia I have is just that this was the first horror movie to be in IMAX, filmed in
Oh,
IMAX and done in an IMAX
weird,
theater. Yeah, I didn't
weird.
verify that, but I just read that somewhere. And you'll note I actually noticed this in the movie. I'm impressed that
Hmm.
I noticed this. The photographer, the cinematographer, um, who
Antlers.
built Antlers, yeah, Antlers. He built the camera. He said, I built this." The camera that he was using, he had to use a camera that didn't use electricity
Yep.
in order to capture. Right. So with the whole hand crank, yeah, on the camera, there's a little thing that says IMAX.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, that's
I,
funny.
I don't know if that makes any sense. If you can film on IMAX on something that's that small,
I don't
I don't know what
know.
IMAX cameras actually
Hmm.
look like, but
Maybe it
it
was
definitely
like
said it.
maybe it should have been I miniature.
Maybe it
Nope,
was I'm
bad
in.
joke. I'm in.
I thought it was
I'm
a good joke.
in. That's what he called him. And when he saw, and he's like, I'm in.
I'm gonna about to get sucked in,
That's he did get
and
sucked in. He got digested.
he
I hope that
did.
it was worth it.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
I love that, by the way. Oh, that was another piece of trivia that I forgot to tell you about.
Oh
Okay,
goodness gracious!
sorry.
I'm so glad you remembered.
I know. There's so much, but the name of the movie. Okay, so I read
Is
this.
nope.
It is Nope, but the reason that Jordan Peele decided to name the movie Nope
Hmm.
is to identify with audience members, especially people who don't necessarily like scary movies, because it
Yeah.
drives them crazy when you're watching a movie and all you can think is like, why are these characters being so dumb? Like, obviously,
Yeah.
don't go down the stairs to the creepy basement.
Just like
It,
Candyman.
just like in Candyman, when she's like, nope. And it's so you're like, oh, thank you. It's just satisfying that like he. So the idea was like identifying with people who are watching these movies
Right.
who that is what's going through your head the entire time. Nope, nope, nope. And that's how we see these characters behaving. Like they're
Yeah.
smart,
Yeah.
you know?
Except for when they decided to go back. They didn't say nope that time.
But they had a
But they said
plan.
nope most of the time. They did have a plan.
They
They
said,
had a plan. They
yeah,
executed.
yeah. Ugh, it
Yeah.
was so good. Okay, so last thing then before we get into choosing the movie for next time is I really wanted
Okay.
to
Well,
chat
I mean,
about.
you don't know that I don't have anything to say, but go ahead. Just take over the episode,
Oh,
Sam.
sorry. Well, do you have something else?
No,
I don't
no,
mean
but
to.
you do your last thing. You do your last thing.
Okay.
And then I have questions to ask you.
Oh, good.
It's
All
been
right.
a while. It's been a while. You
It's
know.
been a while. I just didn't want you to get bored. So I was just teeing you
Um.
up that I'm gonna
Nope.
stop throwing random trivia facts at you. But I
No, I like it.
love Jordan Peele, and I just wanted to take a few
Yeah.
minutes to like talk about who he is and what he's accomplished. So
Cool.
this is our second Jordan Peele movie
You're
that we've
gonna
done.
peel back the onion on Jordan. Yeah.
We're just gonna peel back the layers.
Yeah.
Does it have to be an onion? Could it be a banana? Maybe.
Maybe a sweet onion.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really know what
Okay,
that
we can do
means.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, Jordan Peele, the man, the myth, the legend. So I knew him as a comic, as a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
He got his start with Mad TV, which I didn't really see him on Mad TV, but where he really took off, I think, was Key and Peele. Now I
Yeah,
didn't
which I
realize
never really saw. Like I see clips now, but I never really saw it before.
I was gonna say the same thing. I like.
Yeah.
I guess it was. I don't even know what it aired on, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, oh, Key and Peele. I see that on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok all the time. That's a great show. I would go. Key and Peele was like 2012 to 2015. It's not currently. There's no new
Oh, so it's
episodes
not
that are
even that
coming out.
old. Okay.
No, it's not that old, but it's also 90. I just kind of assumed it's like a show that's still running because I see
Right.
it. I'm like discovering new Key and Peele. It's the gift that keeps giving. There's so many like iconic sketches
Yeah.
from Key and Peele, which are, I mean, A Run. There's
Yeah.
what's the one with the gay couple when gay marriage just first gets legalized, and he's like, "I'm
I
gonna
don't
fill
know.
the moon
You've
with
seen more than I
champagne."
have.
Oh,
I've seen a couple, but I don't see a
yeah.
lot. So
Oh, they're so
I
good.
don't actually have.
Oh my god, the
You need to
slave
remember all of
auction.
them because I only have a small database to go off.
Have you seen the slave auction where they start competing with each other? That one is
No,
really funny. Oh
I
god.
feel like I should have done my homework. I should have looked up. I should have watched a whole bunch of them.
These guys are like comic geniuses, which is so interesting to me that now he writes, produces, directs movies that are more like psychological
Yeah.
horror because it's like totally opposite. um,
Yeah.
so Jordan won an Oscar for his first director credit, which was Get Out. That he had previously
Yep.
done Keanu in 2016, which he I think produced and wrote, but he didn't
Okay.
direct it. So Get Out was his first movie that he directed. Won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. He was nominated for Best Director and Best Picture. Those
Oh
are
wow.
like some of the major Oscars. Those are like the
Yeah.
big ones.
And I heard of Keanu. I've seen Get Out. At some point you'll watch it. It was one of our three that you chose from last week without knowing the
Yeah.
name. But yeah, it also stars Daniel Kaluuya in a completely different role. But yeah,
Oh, nice.
but
Now
I
is
haven't seen Keanu.
Keanu? Oh, you haven't seen it.
That was Get
Is it
Out.
a
That was
horror?
Get Out.
Well, I know, but I was going to switch it. Do you know, is Keanu also a horror movie?
No, it's an
Okay.
action comedy. It's an action comedy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, which makes sense. That fits more of his
Yeah.
style, I guess. Yeah.
So Keanu was his first movie that he's credited with 2016. 2017, he did Get Out. 2018, he did Black Klansman. 2019,
Oh, I never saw that. It was on my list, but I never got a chance to watch it.
yep. 2019, he did Us.
Yep, good movie.
2021, he did Candyman, which of course
Okay.
we love. 2022, he did Nope and another movie called Wendell and Wild.
Okay. I've never heard of that one either. Interesting. So he actually has, I guess he under his belt, he has probably, I guess I've only seen about half of the ones he's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a fan.
And are you ready for me to knock your socks off?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm not wearing socks, but let me put some on real quick.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not putting on socks.
All right. Yeah. Knock your socks off, pull your britches up, do whatever you need to do with your clothing. So Jordan has a production company called Monkey Paw Productions.
Monkey Paw, yeah.
Remember from the beginning of Nope when we saw
Yep.
the credit. So Monkey Paw Productions has signed on to do a remake of one of your favorites.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
No.
Wait, did you say People Under the Stairs?
People Under the Stairs.
No way.
Yep.
That is crazy.
Wes Craven.
When did you? Where did? Is this new? Is this new news?
Well, I read that they signed on to do it in like 2020, But
Okay.
maybe that does. I mean, maybe that doesn't mean they've started working on it. Maybe that just means they have the rights to do it. I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay. So for our listeners out there, because Sam and I talked about this a lot as we were developing the podcast, but People Under the Stairs, if you
I'm
haven't seen
sorry.
it,
I just got water on my face while I was trying to drink. So we you can either keep that in because it's embarrassing, or if you don't mind repeating that.
for our listeners out there, Sam and I talked about this quite a bit, but one of the pivotal movies of my childhood that I remember watching with my mom is People Under the Stairs. And if you've seen it, you know. If you haven't seen it, well, then you don't know. I don't know if it holds up all these years later, but I specifically remember that it was so intense feeling that we paused the movie to take a break. Like we were like, we need a break. My heart's jumping. We were like, man, this movie, like, we need a minute. Now, does it still hold up now? Who knows? But that's crazy. I'm gonna have to tell my mom. She's
Yeah,
going to flip a lid.
I
Or
think I
what?
read.
What?
I think whatever I was reading described it as like a horror comedy. Was it funny? Were there funny elements to
It?
it?
Not really.
Oh,
Nah. There's not. I mean, I think that there's the occasional like quip, but
yeah.
like it's pretty dark. The theme's pretty
Okay.
dark. I haven't seen it probably in 20 years, but that's interesting. That's good to know.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so I think that we have covered this movie in depth. We could talk about it for hours, but the important, well, not it's not the most important part, but there's a couple important questions that I have to ask you that we
Hmm.
sometimes almost forget. But what would you rate it on the scare scale? I came this time
Hmm.
with a number in mind, and I'll gladly talk
Hmm.
about it
Okay.
because you had suggested that maybe I should think of like what I would consider it, which is really
Yeah.
difficult for me because I waffled a lot. Um, but was it scary? Like we watched a horror movie, we talked about how good it was, but we didn't talk
Yeah.
about
How
fear
scary it
factor,
was.
edge of the seat. And I have thoughts, but you first.
Hmm. Oh, this is hard. I didn't come prepared with a number. I
No,
forgot that
I
we
did,
did
but you
this.
didn't. No,
Okay.
opposites.
Well, let's see. So let me think through it and let me tell you
Okay.
how I felt during the movie, and that maybe will help us answer the question.
Okay. Yeah.
My initial gut is
Do you
saying
want me to go first and I'll talk through it and then you can use that as like your ammunition to, or do
no,
you think that I will ruin you with my number?
skew my thinking.
Yeah.
No, because I can talk through it because I think I know how I feel about it. My gut is
Okay.
essentially saying that it's not super scary. I'm kind of thinking
Right.
that it's like lower on the scary scale, and here's the
Okay.
reasons why. I
Yep.
didn't necessarily have the adrenaline rush of I didn't feel a lot of fear.
Right. Okay.
There was suspense and there was mystery, and I was
Yep.
very intrigued. I was
Yep.
very like I was trying to I wanted to know what the thing was, and
Yeah.
I was super drawn in. I was sucked
Yeah.
in. I like being sucked into Jean Jacket.
Okay.
But I did not feel a certain like level of fear. I wasn't like nervous. Like there was a couple of sort of jump scares. I was
Yeah.
like bracing for it, and I just there was no the beginning was a little freaky.
Mm-hmm.
The very beginning, I was like, oh shit.
Yep.
Especially with children involved,
Yep.
that always gets to me. It wasn't gory. I don't think we saw any gore.
No.
There was a little bit of
If anything, it
blood.
was the blood on the chimp, but that was it. Yeah.
Yep,
And the blood
yep.
coming out. Yeah. But not
When the
super.
when the chimp makes eye contact with you as the viewer in the beginning and
Yeah.
then again later, I was a little bit
Yeah.
like, oh fuck, this is really kind of creepy. So I would say it's creepy, but on the scary
Okay.
scale, I would maybe give it like a 4.
Okay. Okay. That's fair.
What did you say?
So I think I agree with most points. I think that overall you look back at the movie and you're like, oh, this was just a good time, lots to think about. But I tried to kind of pay attention throughout. And so one thing, like when the kids are dressed up like aliens, like in that moment, the way that
Mm,
you could see it, but you couldn't see it, right? It
mhm.
was in the shadows and it was coming up. I was like, oh, damn, what is
Yeah,
that?
that's
Oh,
true.
there's two of them. What is happening? And then you
Yep.
find out that it's a prank. But I was like, in that moment, that Jordan Peele captured that feel, even though there was never actual
Yep.
aliens.
Yep.
I think the opening again, it was very eerie. Something about just like the idea of being trapped in the corner with this animal that can just overpower you in an instant. Like it's just like something about it. I was just like it was pretty creepy for me. And then, I think that there's some eeriness when when you see the jean jacket flying in the clouds behind him, and that doesn't really show you. I think once we get a little further in, you kind of know what's happening. That's more action packed, a little suspenseful. So anyway, all that to say, I struggle to give things a number. So I kind of did what you would call a cop out, and I gave it a 5.
Oh, right in the middle.
Which we never gave a 5 last season, but that's kind of how I felt, right? Like if I'm thinking 10 is super scary, 1 is not at all. This one, when it captured those moments, it captured it.
Yeah.
And
the rest
of the
you
time
say
it
that.
didn't.
As you're describing some of those moments a little bit more, and I'm rethinking them, like the aliens in the barn, the fake aliens in the barn, that was really tense. Like when it first is like slowly standing up, and then when it's like extremely slowly coming around the corner.
Oh, coming around the corner, yeah.
Yeah, I was actually pretty like not. It's hard to describe. I need to come up with vocabulary for different types of scaredness. You know what I mean? Like I didn't feel scared in my own skin. But I felt
you felt scared in someone else's skin.
Shit. Yeah. Also, the idea in the beginning when it's like raining fucking bullets of like coins and keys and stuff.
That's weird. Yeah.
Very weird. And also, I was like, why are you both just standing there? I mean, I realize that you can't process what's happening right now. And you're just like, there's something is like, is it hailing? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a little disturbing. The idea of like getting impaled by a coin.
Do you think that when the key was shown in the back of the horse, that was like a call out for Key and Peele?
Key and Peele? Yeah. He was like, you just get the horse's ass.
Yeah. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. So I mean, I gave it a 4. If you'd said it's actually a 6, I'd be like, you're not wrong. It's like hovers right there in the middle zone, but that's just the scary scale. The recommendation scale, I'd say through the roof. It's a great movie and it's so well made.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't remember who it was. Pretty recently, someone was just like, I watched Nope and it was fine. But I thought it was great. I thought it was good.
It was great. Yeah. I thought it was deep. And I liked the music. We didn't even talk about the music, but I thought he made really good music choices. I thought what they did with the music was fun.
Was the music like just subtle? Like,
well, no, I like the soundtrack, but like, I mean, the like they used the what song was it? Was it the I Don't Wear My Sunglasses at Night song? Was it a different song?
They did do that one. Yeah.
A second. Yeah. And they were playing with like the
they would like slow it down as like it was coming back up, as like the electricity was coming back into the car. Yeah.
There were other
that was actually really well done.
Yeah.
My favorite song of the movie was when Antlers started singing the Purple People Eater song.
Oh.
Because it had one eye, it didn't really have a horn, it wasn't purple, but it was a flying people eater. I was like, this is halfway the song about this thing. I wish it would have been purple, because it sure looks strange to me. Anyway,
No,
I
that was good.
Clever.
Yeah. Well, so many little things like that.
Yeah. So that's it. That's Nope. If you're like, hey, should I watch this? Nope. The answer is yes.
The answer
I know
is
that was confusing. Hey, if you're enjoying Scary Movie Fright Night, hit pause real quick, rate, review, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And now, back to the episode. Shall we move on to next episode, Sam?
Yeah, hell yeah, we should. Let's do it.
Good. So now is one of my favorite parts of the episode, and when 17% of people say, oh, got everything I came for, and they turn off the episode. But this is the time when we
That's not true.
I'm just
kidding.
People
love this part.
That this is the only reason people come, I'm sure. But the part where we pick what we're going to watch next episode. So in case you didn't listen to the holiday episode, which I'd be really offended, you should go back and listen. But what we announced is that we're mixing it up a little bit from season 1. And so from here on forward, for the movie selection, I'm not telling Sam anything about the movies. Not telling him who wrote it, who directed it. I'm not telling him who's in it. I'm not telling him how long it is. I'm not even telling him the year. Yeah, I'm just telling you what it's about. And because, we want to channel a little bit of AI and Megan friendship, and really we want the synopses to be consistent across the board. We're using our good AI wannabe friend ChatGPT to help generate these synopses, so that they don't give away too much, or just those like one-liner synopses that like, oh, this is about a cabin in the woods, and we're like, well, that sucked. So yeah.
It's really pretty clever.
Yeah. So without further ado, the theme for this next episode is, wait for it, fantasy horror.
Oh, fun. Okay. This will
Yeah.
be good.
It,
This will be good.
it should be good. I'm excited because like it's not it took a little bit of time to find 3 movies that fit the theme fantasy horror, but I think I found them. So without further ado, the first movie is not a title I'm telling you. The synopsis is: in post-Civil War Spain, a young girl named Ophelia is brought to a remote countryside mill to live with her pregnant mother and her new stepfather, a sadistic captain in the army. In this bleak and oppressive environment, Ophelia discovers a hidden and mysterious place in the forest near the mill. Inside, she encounters fantastical and mythical creatures who reveal that she may be the reincarnation of a lost princess. To prove herself and protect her family, Ophelia embarks on a perilous quest to take her deep into a world of enchantment and danger. Yeah, pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
It's like all the other movies we watch. The family moves in just to a new place, and dog dies, and the mom ends up possessed, and they kill they possess the mom to kill the child. Oh wait, that was The Conjuring. I'm sorry, wrong movie.
That's totally different than the one you just described.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the second one?
Okay, second one. So first one, post-Civil War Spain. This one, the synopsis is: in the midst of a Cold War era, a mute woman named Alyssa leads a quiet, routine life working as a janitor in a high-security government laboratory. Her world takes an unexpected turn when she stumbles upon a classified experiment involving a mysterious creature. As Alyssa forms a unique connection with this enigmatic being, she becomes determined to protect it from the shadows of secrecy that loom over their lives. In a world where trust is elusive and appearances can be deceiving, Alyssa embarks on a journey that will forever change her understanding of the universe.
Wow. Forever changing her understanding of the universe. That's a pretty big deal.
It's a pretty big deal. The universe is big. Black holes are bigger. Don't watch High Life. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're on a roll. Okay. These are
Yeah.
good. Lots to think about here. What's our third option?
The third and final synopsis is: Ig Parrish wakes up one morning to discover he has grown a pair of mysterious, devilish horns on his head.
Wait, hang on. Is that the name of the character? Ig Parrish?
Ig Parrish, yeah.
Okay.
These newfound appendages, however, grant him a peculiar ability: the power to compel people to reveal their deepest, darkest secrets and desires. Watch out, Sam. Haunted by the unsolved murder of his girlfriend and shunned by his community, Ig is determined to use his strange new gift to uncover the truth. As he navigates a world where secrets and lies are the norm, he begins to unravel a complex web of deceit, discovering that sometimes the most startling revelations lie hidden beneath the surface.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Fantasy horror.
Loving these options. Loving this. Okay, so the first one, the young girl named Ophelia. We're not talking about Shakespeare here, right? Was it Midsummer Night's Dream? No, Hamlet. Which one has the character named Ophelia? Doesn't matter.
Pork cutlet?
Yep. But I don't get it.
Hamlet? Pork
Oh,
come on, Sam.
Got
Keep
it.
up.
Okay.
Keep up.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm too slow. Okay.
Yeah.
But Spain sounds lovely. Love a little
Spain sounds lovely,
vacation
especially
to
post Civil
Spain.
War.
Yeah,
post Civil War, everyone's at peace, peaceful. Spain, Ophelia,
Ophelia's out in the mysterious forest near the mill. Sounds like kind of cottage Corey situation. She's a lost princess.
I mean, supposedly, maybe.
So she's out to go find herself. Yeah. Sounds like a journey of self-discovery. And who doesn't love a good journey of self-discovery to find yourself? Okay.
I know I don't.
You don't? I'm all about self-discovery. This podcast is me going on a journey of self-discovery. Okay. The second one, you said there's a woman, a mute woman, so she doesn't speak, named Elisa, who works as a janitor in a high-security government laboratory, and she stumbles upon an experiment and a mysterious creature. Well,
yeah.
That sounds it's nothing short of exciting and thrilling. A mysterious creature.
Yeah.
Love discovering that. Okay, so then the third one, my recaps here are not very exciting. I'm not doing a great job. Okay, wait. I have a confession.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
I think I know. This is actually kind of fun that you're not telling me the titles of these movies because I'm reading the
Because you
synopsis
have
and
an
I'm
idea
like,
what they are.
I think I know what 2 of these are, but not the third one. I think I know what 2 of them are, and I think I've seen both of them, which leads me to believe, which is totally fine, right? This is part of the game. We don't
Yeah.
we don't consult in advance of like what is on the list or what we're choosing. It's all a surprise. So I am going to choose the one that I think I haven't seen before, and then I'm going to see if I
Interesting.
actually know.
It's probably the one I'm least excited about. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no!
No.
Well,
Yeah, they're all on the list.
That's true. You chose all of them for a reason. I'm going to choose the third movie
Is
because
it
first
because
of
it has to
all,
do with a guy being horny?
I didn't even make that connection, but now that you pointed
You're welcome.
out, well, you said that the horns give him the power to compel people to tell their deepest, darkest secrets. Hello, who wouldn't want that power? I wish I had that power on this podcast so I could compel you to tell me all your deepest, darkest secrets while we're recording.
I already did. I love scary movies. So, like,
no,
what other secrets could I have?
I know there's more than that under there.
Okay.
And I'll get out of you eventually.
Okay. I also love eating a soup and sandwich.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Deepest,
okay,
darkest
so
secrets. You heard it here, folks.
You heard it here. Well, I've got some other deeper, darker secrets that maybe we'll get to. But the first one, I can't remember what it's called. Is it Pan's Labyrinth?
It is.
Yes. Okay. All right. And the
2
second
points for
one,
Sam.
the second one was Shape of Water.
Yeah. Well done.
Yes.
Guess how many of them I've seen? I've seen neither of them.
You haven't seen any of them?
I haven't seen any of these 3. Yeah.
Okay.
I will say though, when I was picking these out, I was like, there's a chance that Sam might have seen these because they're not like they're fantasy horror. They're horror. It's it's like Midsommar, right? Like plenty of people who don't watch horror movies watch Midsommar. But interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so keep them on the list. Keep them. I have no idea what the third one is. Not a clue.
Oh,
what is the third one?
I'm not going to tell you.
Well, you have
just kidding. No, I will tell you. It's funny. Do you realize also the first 2 are both Guillermo del Toro?
Oh, right.
Which just happened to be that way because he makes they're both I think similarly. You'll be able to tell me, but they have a similar feel to them. But anyway, the movie you picked, which is not those 2 movies, it's actually titled, not very original, but it's called Horns.
Okay.
Yeah, it came out in 2013. Directed by Alexandre Aja. Writers Keith Boonen and Joe Hill. Starring, wait for it, Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was that
this
who
is a
gets
big one.
the horns?
Everyone heard about this one. Yeah, he loses his wand and instead he grows the horns. We back in the day we used to call this Harry gets horny. Because Harry Potter gets horns.
I don't like that.
No, me neither. It's fine. Anyway, also starring Juno Temple and Max Minghella. IMDb score of 6.4 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 42% and a 49% audience score. But we don't judge here. We don't prejudge. We just say, okay, good to know.
All movies
Let's watch this weird, horrific movie with this guy with horns coming out of his head. Yeah, we're here for it.
Yeah. Ooh, I can't wait. Okay, good.
Yeah. And then how many times are we going to talk about the movie being fantastic because it's fantasy?
Maybe once or twice, and then we'll probably call it there.
Yeah,
but we can keep calling it horny as many times as you want.
That sounds about right. We do have a tendency to beat a dead horse, like they did in Nope. Get it?
Like
they didn't actually beat any horses in that movie. No horses were harmed in the filming of Nope.
Some of them might have been harmed. Not in the making of the movie, just in the story of the movie.
Right, in the story of the movie. Horses were harmed in the storytelling of this movie. Weird. Okay,
just
Sam.
to clarify. Okay.
Yeah. But I guess that's it. Are we wrapping up? Are we all done? Do you need to tell me any stories about an AC man that came to your house, or like I think we're good for now.
I feel like that was a dig.
I know that was not a dig. I just want to make sure that
you want to know the update on the ghosts who were. Listen, let me tell you something. I wish that I had some ghosts to come help cook and clean and keep the house in order because
something's afoot.
Okay, that's good, and no one's gonna get it until I explain it. My partner Zach had foot surgery, so he is out of commission, and right now it's just me and the ghosts doing all the chores. That's not true. He's actually being very helpful, but he's supposed to be resting his foot. So something is afoot.
Something is afoot. He's tall. He just puts his foot up on the counter. He could put his foot up on the counter and also cook dinner. Don't tell him I said that, but you should tell him I said that.
Well, he's going to hear it soon enough.
Yeah, it's fine. He'll hear it at some point. By then he'll be running around like all the young people. He'll be well past. Anyway, enough about this. It's time to go.
Thanks for checking in, though. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll continue to check in. So, Friday Night Friends, thank you for joining us on today's episode 1, season 2. Technically, it's episode 14 if you're counting all of them. Technically, if you include the bonus episodes, I'm not going to give you the number. We're not doing that. But if you want to see the full video version, head over to Spotify if you're not there already. Head over to YouTube if you're not there already, and you'll be able to watch the full video and see Sam picking his nose, and it's very exciting.
Only 4 times.
Only 4 times. I'll cut the other 3 or 4.
Thank you.
But until next time, take some time for some self-scare. Have a toast to the ghosts. Go watch Horns, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
It was very Pulp Fiction. It was very Pulp Fiction.
Haven't seen that movie. My whole life is basically just people telling me that I should go see a movie and being like, I've never seen that movie before. That's it.
Except for the 2 movies out of the 3 that I picked for this episode.
Yeah, that's wild, huh?
You haven't seen Pulp Fiction. You haven't seen Beetlejuice, but you've seen Shape of Water and you've seen Pan's Labyrinth.